All right, guys, this is the moment of truth. I'm gonna try to start it. I think I got everything hooked up. See what happens. We have a leak. Looks like a leaky fuel injector. No good. Yeah, we got a big leak here. It looks like this top gasket on this injector is probably cracked or completely junk. It's pouring a lot of fuel out when I prime it, so I'm gonna have to pull that apart and fix it. All right, guys, so it's actually the next day now. I just kind of let it sit and let the gas evaporate. Didn't really feel like messing with it when there was a bunch of gas sitting there. It's actually not really that bad because I forgot to hook the cam sensor up, so it wasn't actually trying to fire while it was leaking gas, so that's a good thing that it didn't, fire and start up and then was running and leaking gas at the same time because I wouldn't have been able to hear it, so it's probably better the way it happened. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fuel rail off and I'll check this thing, and I'm going to hope that there's a bad O-ring in there. Hoping that it's a bad O-ring. Let's see what it is. Okay, so I got some towel wrapped around there, just in case we do leak anymore, which I'm sure it will. These rails, I'm always surprised by how much gas these things actually hold. When they're not pressurized, you think they're completely empty. After you pull the injectors out, there's so much damn gas in there. But anyways, let's get this clip off, and we'll try to pull this thing out. Okay, yep, bad guy. So that must have happened, maybe that happened when I was putting it in. Guess she doesn't like it when you jam it in there dry. We'll throw a new O-ring on there and toss it back in. Got the new O-ring on. Lubed it up a little bit. Hopefully it'll go in a little bit nicer this time. Oh. No, I'm just paranoid. Come on, man. There, that one seems like it should be okay. I guess we'll find out pretty soon. And I gotta remember to plug my cam sensor back in, but I think I'm actually gonna do that after I pressurize the rail again. I'm gonna throw the fuel pressure gauge on there and make sure that it's actually coming up to pressure. It's not too high of pressure, and it's not going to blow out another gasket. All right, it should be okay. All plugged back in now. Okay, so we got moment of truth version 2 now. I did plug the cam sensor back in. I'm going to prime the pump. I'll check the gauge, and then we'll give it a stank. See where she's at. Dropping pretty quickly. Don't see any leaks though. Wonder if it's just oh. It's actually leaking on the gauge. What a turd. Whatever, I'm just gonna pull it off. Ooh. Didn't get the toe under very well there, dude. Come on. I think there's actually something wrong with my gauge. My gauge is leaking. I thought maybe it was the Schrader valve on the fuel injector test rig. But, because this one wasn't leaking before, so something must have happened to this thing recently that now it doesn't want to cooperate and wants to leak. Clean this gas up. Maybe I'll give it a little bit to dry. I wonder how fast I would have to drive it to put the fire out. Okay, so I'm going to assume now that it was losing pressure because it was leaking out of the gauge, and hope for the best. Well, it starts for a little bit. I'll do a little bit of troubleshooting and figure out why she's shutting off. I don't know, maybe maybe it's getting too much fuel or not enough fuel. We'll play with it a little bit and see what we can come up with. Well, I was reading like a 12.5 air fuel on the gauge, so I don't think that's too bad. Well, it kind of starts. I'm going to toss some Teflon tape over this Schrader valve and see if I can get it to stop leaking. I really want to see the fuel pressure while it's trying to fire. At least I'll know if it's fuel related or not. I mean, I did just change the whole fuel system, so there could be a chance that it was losing pressure. Yeah, it was losing pressure. I saw it doing it, so is it actually losing pressure or was it just the gauge not reading right? I'm going to give this a whirl again, put this on. I'd be curious to see if it's something tuning related or if it's, yeah, I think that gauge is actually bad. That Schrader valve or the connection on it's bad. Try to situate this thing so I can actually see it. Didn't lose fuel pressure, so that's good. Fuel pressure is holding strong, so that'll be something else. And that thing's not leaking now, so must be bleeding back into the tank though, which there's no check valve or anything on it at all anywhere, so that would make sense. All right, guys, it's time. The start. Did a couple things in the computer, made some adjustments. Let's do it. So we got it going, everything's good, fuel pressure's holding good, like right at 60 psi, that's almost perfect. I think it's rated for like 58 psi, but it's holding right at 60, awesome. I do have to get this thing buttoned up, the transmission cooler, got to get that guy bolted up somewhere, got to take care of this thing. I don't have a overflow, so I need to do something with an overflow, and I have to put the steering column back in before I can go drive it. But other than that, it starts, it runs, it's idling at like a 13.3 air fuel right now, so still a little bit of work yet. It works, it runs, it's pretty smooth, so it should be enough to get on the road and start driving at least. So that's about it for this one, guys. If you were with me for the whole thing from start to finish, I really appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. I'm pretty excited, hope you are. Next video, we're gonna drive it. For real this time.